Testing 1, 2, 3. Hi guys, hello Mary beats everybody, it's MicheleMarieDalene, and of course today is Monday. Normally we would just do the Discord chat and just make it an MP3, but I said, why the hell more version of the Mac? So the launcher was trying to launch, but it couldn't launch because it's not compatible with Snow Leopard. So like you can guess, ha 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 ha. And there's a man's using an older operating system because bad guys can't be kind of find themselves kind of beside themselves. But let's get started. By the way, tonight we're not going to be taking too many phone calls, but we are going to be dealing with the chat. So let's switch over to the chat right now. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I gotta turn on the chat for Snow Queen Radio. So initialize that. As long as, yep, that's on, okay. And we're going to go ahead and turn on the YouTube chat screen over here. And we already got people in here, and it says, Ginger Marie, how are you today? It's out on the wire. I'm good as always, and you, of course, to talk to each other. Hi, Michelle. It's me, obviously. And, so anyway, we're going to be talking about security clearances. I did some research into security clearances because I was curious, given what's going on with Brennan and his security clearance. I think a lot of Americans are actually, because we hear about them, but we don't really know much about them. So I did just a little bit of research, which is probably more than most people ever did. For example, to get a security clearance, you need to file a form called SF-86. The security clearance form can take up to 100 pages long. There's an online version called the e-app, which you can use to file for your security clearance. Security clearance forms are very, very detailed. Majority of the time, they do not require a polygraph test, although there are a few government divisions that still do. Security clearances are usually renewed after a period of time. But here's the scary thing: even if you retired or you quit your government job, your security clearance is still there. That's right, your security clearance stays for almost every time. Well, have you considered the fact that I said that I'm not taking phone calls today? I'm not taking phone calls today because of one reason, and that is I want to point out that with my hearing loss, the phone is probably the biggest issue, and I said that I would be taking phone calls on Wednesdays, but not every night. This would be the Discord chat, which just happens to be, I'm including the YouTubers into this tonight, just because I can. So Blackman can't call, huh? Well, why didn't you call yesterday when I was taking phone calls on Sunday? I was taking calls all night Sunday. And I'm taking phone calls on Wednesday. So it's not like I don't take phone calls. Okay? And I want to focus on a particular task. It's just we're talking about security clearances, and that's what we're talking about tonight. And last night we were covering the issue about the interview. So, Lamar, let me ask you this question. What do you know about security clearances? Well, excuse me. Normally, Michelle usually does the Discord chats on Monday, and then she doesn't take phone calls in Discord chats. However, the people on Discord can jump in the chat. Ask Brave to show you how to get to Discord. No, I'll feel better. I will send them to Discord. I will send them a link so people can join that way. Okay? This way, no BS, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to copy this link. Like, you have never sent a link like this before? Of course I do. Alright, so I'm going to send you a link, Lamar, that you can go to. Actually, I'm just going to post it in general chat to everybody, because anybody who wants to talk, really, if you really want to talk, since this is open to the Discord people as well, that's the easiest way to join us. Okay? There's the link. You can go to that link, join Discord, and then you can chat to me that way on Discord. Okay? If you... I wouldn't be able to tell if he was kneeling or not. Seriously. Besides, like I said, I post a link to the Discord channel that you can join on the Discord, and I will see you in Snow Queen Radio. Which is what is, this is being played on Snow Queen Radio right now. And so you can hear the stream and check it out. So, besides the problem Michelle has with the phone is out on the wire, will confirm that he even agreed to what Michelle said, is with her hearing loss, she has an extremely hard time hearing people on the phone for some reason. And that's not because Michelle's trying to be an asshole. This is because Michelle can't always hear hearing people on the phone for some reason. And that's not because Michelle's trying to be... This is because Michelle can't... Okay, it plays fine, so that's good. No, I don't know where. Even you said, and even you agreed, that with my hearing loss, it is very difficult to do on the phone, unless I can get somebody to act as an interpreter translator. And I explained in the earlier stream today that the phone also gets very distracting. So I wouldn't say that the phone also gets very distracting. And plays fine. Now check your lights. Yeah, it plays fine. Okay, so this you can help me out, sure. Because, I mean, the translation, the problem is that I have a hard time hearing some people. And that's part of the problem. It's not because I want to be a mean person or anything. I'm not a mean person. I'm a nice person, but you could make sure the phone works. I know it works. I test it every single time. Yeah, it works. See, told you. So. It says originally Michele actually designed the Discord stream for those people on Discord, such as Brave and others, to join. And on Discord, where they wanted to be able to talk about Discord topics and not necessarily jam up the entire rest of the internet for everybody else. And that was one reason why Michele originally did the Discord only stream. But today, Michele has... No, that's not the case. No, it's not the case. That's not the case at all. Alright, so. Like I said, as far as the issue of security clearances and Brennan and his security clearances. Why, I'd like to know. And I'm supposed to... Congress and maybe even the president might change this. Why are former officials allowed to keep their security clearances when they're not even working with the administration anymore? Of course, Brennan was still working with the administration. That's the difference. Yeah, in your dream. He's not unraveling. He's actually still doing really good. Robert Mueller is the one that started to unravel, since his entire argument against Donald Trump has gone up in flames. 30 plus years, well, it seems like years. It's only been about a year, but 30 plus hours of discussion in the White House. And the prosecution cannot find a single thing about collusion from the Republican Party at all. Whereas, Hillary Clinton and the Democrats have basically been colluding like crazy with Russia. Donald Trump, they cannot find anything because he didn't do anything. He even waived his right to his attorney, and he gave his attorneys the full right to speak and document everything that was ever said, and all papers, all files, everything. Security clearances used for people's experience and intelligence. Fine. But when you are no longer part, some of these guys that are no longer part of the government, the ones that retired or fired, why do they still have the security clearances? Right now, the way I see it, I think you have to worry less about Donald Trump than you have to worry about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders, because they are turning the Democrat Party into the Socialist Party, and they have got up some more people that are rallying behind them. But given what we saw so far in the primaries, I don't think they have a chance. But be wary, because they are very sneaky. Ask what happened with Vladimir Lenin when the Germans snuck him back into Russia on a railway car. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is still out there. And she's still rabble-rousing today to make the Democratic Party into a socialist organization with their friend Bernie Sanders. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you something. If Mueller was so smart, why didn't he wrap this up, say, 6 months ago? If he's so smart and they really could prove anything, you would have thought that this whole case would have been ended even 3 months ago. 3 months after it started. It's been over a year and he still can't find a thing. Figure this one out. If you have been investigating someone for over a year and you can't even find anything to stick, that doesn't sound like you have to worry about your so-called plaintiff being guilty, because guess what? The defense, that's Mueller, actually that's the plaintiff was Mueller, and the defense would be a Trump, hasn't been guilty of any crime at all, and there's no evidence to indicate it. No evidence. None. You would think by now, over a year investigation, you would have seen something. Not a single piece of information, not a single note, not a single evidence, not a single speck of evidence. I'll start again. What did you say here? You said you just said message retracted. So what does that mean? If anything, Jeff Sessions, and that's right, Jeff Sessions should basically call this fucking pony show to an end, because there is nothing. Trump's hooker said history help man. Any man that has premature ejaculation. Excuse me? My fellow brothers and sisters, for the Black Mama man's cause, give this video a dislike and put this racist in her place. Except nobody is racist. That's what I'm trying to say, Lum. We're not racist people. And you will, if you've been watching my channel long enough, you will know that I am not racist. I am not taking phone calls from anybody today. Okay? Because every time I take phone calls, all we ever do is get into a big pile of crank calls from people. I know there have been a few legitimate calls yesterday, like the young kids. But seriously, I had a hard time hearing the kids. I don't know if it was my ears, which I think it was. Or maybe if it was, the kids are yelling in the microphone. I don't know. So the point is that I could not hear the kids. I have no idea what the investigator has, except the fact is that, number one, if the person was hot and ready to prosecute, they would have already gotten the information together. Okay? Right now, I have seen what happened with some of the other situations in the government has already been dealt with. Take, for example, the Hillary Clinton email scandal. That didn't take long to deal with that. Yeah, but she's still not behind jail bars yet. Yeah, because the FBI did everything they could to make sure she wouldn't be. Yeah, right. I don't think so. He's just dragging it on. Actually, he's doing it for a reason, though. Do you want to know what that is? What? Midterms. Ah, yes, the midterms. The midterms. And so he's trying to basically make Trump look bad so the Democrats have a chance of getting into office. Guess what? It's not going to happen. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not going to win. In fact, given her behavior and lack of knowledge for the 14th District of the Bronx, she is more than likely it's going to be the Republican candidate that is going to win, and she's not. Except in her area, she's got a lot of favor. She has a lot of favor, but the thing is we don't need her in there. Yeah, well, she's still not behind jails. She's not been acquitted. In fact, she hasn't even had her day in court yet. Oh, yes, she did judicial committee. Oh, yeah, speaking of that, whatever happened to that Mrs. Loretta Lynch? Huh? She's still up to something. She actually told Comey to treat it as a matter instead of a criminal investigation that it was. Why in the hell would he do that? I don't support corruption. I'm far from it. I'm saying is that. Don't you see what's going on, guys, here? Michelle, I think we kind of left the track here about security clearances. Let's get back to that. The people, okay, that's a great point. Security clearances. Some of these people that are not bona fide and generally concerned about the well-being of America, the deep state, members of the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, Homeland Security, ones that are not truly concerned with American sovereignty, have security clearances that should not have them. When do you think the Catholic Church is going to fold on itself? Fold on itself? I don't really know what you mean by fold on itself. I mean, first of all, let me see you. I know that some archdioceses in the United States have seriously been compromised financially after all the allegations of pedophiles. For years, I think that Archdiocese of Boston was one of them that actually went almost tits up. And I know that there's been a lot of money paid out because priests doing bad things. Oh no, I understand that part. Security clearances is intrinsic for national defense. I got that part. But here's the part I don't get. When people retire or people are fired, why do they get to keep their security clearance? I didn't even see your question. I'm sorry, I didn't see your question. How many green dislikes? I can't tell. I really can't tell from here. Because this window, if you look at the screen, do you see a like-dislike counter? No, you do not. Because there is no like-dislike counter in this chat screen. So, that's why I can't tell how many likes or dislikes I got. And no, I did not dislike. I did not ignore it because of the color of your skin. I didn't answer the question because, first of all, I could not answer the question. Because, as you can see, there is no counter for likes or dislikes on this screen. Because of the knowledge and experiences. Yeah, I get it. But seriously, if you've been if you're retired or fired, your security clearance should be removed from active service because you're not in active duty anymore. Now, almost trying to silence anything, despite what you think. Here they asked the government to pay the victims of abuse money, and the government did, and they didn't pay them back for the return of millions, the Pope is making his trip here in a few weeks. So, in other words, the Pope went to the people of Ireland, and they said to the government of Ireland, hey, can you help us here with money? And then the Pope couldn't make the payment back. So, you're saying is now that the church is actually in debt because they couldn't pay the bill? And what does that mean? That the government of Ireland is going to foreclose on the church? So here they asked the government to pay the victims of abuse money, and the government did, and they didn't pay the government back in tens of millions. So, as I said, you think that the country of Ireland is going to foreclose on the Catholic Church because of that situation, or try to put a lien on the church assets? When you want the best information available, there's nothing better than actually trying to sit there and read through every single book and try to make a heads or tails out of every piece of crap that comes across the wire. You're going to have a bunch of dislikes. The black people will know what to... Lamar, you're the only person on my channel right now, at this point, that is publicly speaking up in that way. No one else is. So basically, it's going to end up almost like it happened with Henry VIII, except in this case, it's not going to be because of a marriage or annulment of a marriage. It's going to be because the Irish countryside is going to basically own the church's butt because they couldn't pay back the bill. And I don't know if Vatican City can go ahead and file for bankruptcy, but I'm sure that there must be international bankruptcy procedures. To be honest, the church is broke anyway. The question is, when the hell did that start? Says, I cannot be involved with Michele's radical right movements. Well, sorry about that. Considering the fact is I haven't actually done anything wrong to you, I just basically am just talking about the topics that basically come up every day. Yeah, right. Now, so the point is that I want to let's take a look at the weather and the news real quick. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do some useful time here, real quick here. Need to know basic information. Right now, where I am, it's 21 degrees Celsius. The humidity is at 73%. And it's partly sunny. Tonight, the expected level will be 14 degrees. Tuesday, August 21st, mostly cloudy, a high of 24, low of 19. Wednesday, August 22nd, a high of 26, a low of 15. Thursday, August 23rd, it'll be a high of 24 and a low of 13. And it'll be warm again. That sucks. Well, let's look at the draw, I guess. So let's see what news stories are hot and popping today. Let's take a look first at Alex Jones. Treasonous intelligent community eats itself. The deep state won't survive the Trump presidency. Okay, it's related to what we're talking about. There has never been a more treasonous atmosphere hovering over Washington, D.C. than there is today. And let's go plug in the cable and so we can hear what the person has got to say. Yeah. How long is this piece? I have no idea. Okay, turn up the sound. Make it loud. Make it count. Okay.
There has never been a more treasonous atmosphere hovering over Washington, D.C. than there is today.
Come on.
Today, the Daily Caller reports Florida Democratic Representative Alcee Hastings made this joke about President Trump during a rally in Florida.
He said, do you know the difference between a crisis and a catastrophe? And no one held their hand, so Ari answered for us. He says, a crisis is if Donald Trump falls into the Potomac River and can't swim. And he says, and a catastrophe is anybody saves his ass.
The left's constant barrage of death threats regarding the commander-in-chief has become par for the course, all in thanks to the narrative developed by the groaning sore losers from the intelligence community.
Now you're seeing this collective response together with particular actors such as Robert Gates, General Petraeus, people that have not particularly been in the political fray, right, who've remained really quiet. Some people thought because they were looking for new positions in the administration as things shifted. But you can see this is definitely a line that was crossed.
And we take a significant offense at those who claim that John doesn't have integrity, that John lied to Congress, that John did this or John did that. And so we wanted to push back against that. We wanted to be supportive of John's time in government.
The fact that he's using a security clearance of a former CIA director as a pawn in his public relations strategy, I think is just so reflective of somebody who, quite frankly, I don't want to use this term maybe, but he's drunk on power. He really is. And I think he's abusing the powers of that office. I think right now this country is in a crisis in terms of what Mr. Trump has done and is liable to do. What really gets under my skin is Mr. Trump's lack of decency, integrity, honesty, and his lack of commitment to this country's well-being and national security. Mr. Trump is motivated by whatever is in the best interest of Mr. Trump. That has been his modus operandi for many decades. I was hoping that he was going to change once he assumed the solemn responsibilities of the office of presidency. That's why for my first year, I sometimes spoke out when he was in front of the agency's memorial wall and spoke about the size of his inauguration crowd. But I did it very, very selectively. I gave him a year. I said, maybe he is going to adapt and change. But it seemed like day after day, week after week, month after month, things just got worse. And he did not live up to, I think, what Americans expect of the President of the United States. To speak with great forcefulness, but to do it with integrity and honesty. And Mr. Trump, time after time, I think, has really just disappointed millions of Americans, which I'm trying to give voice to. And so I know a lot of people think that a former intelligence official shouldn't be doing this. I don't consider what I'm doing political at all. I've never registered as a Republican or a Democrat.
Well, you have to realize John Brennan started his illustrious career by voting for the Communist Party. You know, that's who he wanted to win the presidency back in the 70s, so he voted for the Communist Party. When he came to be head of the CIA, I filibustered him because I thought he was bad news from the very beginning.
Brennan's delusional mind has even led him to believe he can sue the president over his cherished security clearance. And as expected, all is not well in Treasonville. They are beginning to cannibalize their misguided mission. turning on each other. And the unraveling continues. As Zero Hedge reports, the FBI has been dealt a major blow after a Washington, D.C. judge ruled that the agency must respond to a FOIA request for documents concerning the Bureau's efforts to verify the controversial Steele dossier before it was used as the foundation of a FISA surveillance warrant application and subsequent renewals. Problem is, the Steele dossier isn't worth the paper it was printed on. Will the judge's FOIA request put an end to the Russia collusion fairy tale once and for all? John Bound reporting for Infowars.com.
Okay, so you see now where they said that they're chewing on each other's ass. Now we are going to take a few phone calls, guys. So if you got the number, you can call it. But we're talking about that topic, the deep state today. Now, for those of you who are into video games, for example, and intrigue and espionage and stuff like that, you may enjoy yourself discussing the deep state today. Like a bad neighbor, deep state is there. So, the phone is on now, by the way. Of course, some of my people ask me. Now there's one of the callers. Go ahead, call. You're on the air.
Hey, my mommy told me to call this number while she's at work if I needed anything. And whenever a real bad problem in the toilet, I make boom boom and it's everywhere.
What?
My mommy, she told me to call this number while she's at work. She's been at work for the past 8 days. If anything bad happened. Yeah, so I'm calling this number because I made boom booms in the bathrooms and it's not going down.
I don't know what assholes you're talking about.
It's my mom. My mommy.
I don't know what that is.
She works at, she says she's a dancer at a club, but she's been going at work for 8 days now. And so she left me this number and said to call it if I had any problems. And the problem is the boom booms in the toilet.
Okay, so you were told to call this number by some lady, which...
By my mom.
Okay.
This is Billy. Billy? She probably told you about me.
Okay. So what do you think of the show?
There was a big problem. There's a big problem with the boom boom in the toilet. It won't go down.
The what go down?
The boom booms in the toilet.
Oh. Well, that's not my specialty, sorry. I make big poops and they don't go down.
My mommy, she looked this number in the fridge and said to call it if I had any problems.
I don't do plumbing. I never did do plumbing.
Well, I don't know what plumbing is, but she said, can you come over? And also, we're running out of food. I'm very hungry. So
tell the little kid to check his fiber intake. Personal experience.
What?
Eat lots of Metamucil. Eat lots of broccoli.
I'm 6.
Because that will help in the future. That's all I can tell you, really.
So she said to call this number for help. So, like I said, there's a problem with the toilet, and then I'm very hungry. We ran out of food, so if you could bring food too. I'm so hungry. I like pizza pockets and Lunchables and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and my favorite cereal is Lucky Charms. We also don't have any milk. The milk smells funny.
What's not funny?
The milk.
I can't help.
When are you going to be over? Should I just leave the door unlocked? My mom said not to leave the door unlocked, but I leave the door unlocked for you, okay?
Okay, go ahead, Ginger. You can talk to the caller. I'm having a hard time understanding because I'm trying to check something else at the same time.
Okay, Michelle.
Okay?
It seems to be some child abused child or something.
So, are you coming over to help? What time will you be here? And I'm not going to school no more.
Are you going to help him? He wants to know.
Well, it's gonna take her. It's gonna take my team to go all the way from Dublin all the way to where are you?
What?
Dublin, Ireland.
We live on Lincoln Avenue, but my mommy said you already know that.
First of all, I really don't have any way to really help you with the plumbing, because that's, like I said, we're electrical wiring people.
Plunge the toilet.
I don't like plums. I don't want any food.
Michelle.
I want some Lucky Charms and some peanut butter and jelly and some pizza pockets and some Lunchables.
Right now, I'm just checking.
No, I don't want any plums.
Okay, you need to ring Childline.
Alright.
Or human, adult, whatever, CPS.
So what time are you going to be over?
Michelle, what time are you going to help him at? This is dumb.
What?
Piss off, troll.
Research says that child abuse continues. Caller says he's out of milk. Caller says mother told him to call you if he needed anything. Well, I don't know why.
Okay, well, I'll see you later, lady who's supposed to help me. Yeah, what time do you think my mommy's going to be back? She's been gone for 8 days.
Okay, well, can't really help you anyway, because I'm all the way on the other end of the country.
His mother is missing.
You don't live by Lincoln Avenue? By the school? Across the street from the Dairy Queen?
Alright, anyway, so,
Okay, I'll see you later, lady. Don't forget the Lucky Charms.
Okay, well, you have a nice day now.
Someone in the chat wants to... Oh, it's gone.
This is the kind of stuff, though, why I get frustrated with dealing with the phone calls. It has nothing to do with Lamar at all. Despite what everybody says. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, we'll probably come and buy us some milk.
What?
Well, yeah, what time are you come and buy us some milk?
What's he talking about,
James? Michelle.
My daddy says that you're going to come back with some milk. He says you're going to be my brother some milk. We're so hungry. We just want some milk for our cereal.
Well, go to the emergency food bank. There's a food bank nearby most towns.
I don't know what that means. But what time are you going to be over? He said they're going to come over with the fire truck with milk.
Check out the local Salvation Army or the Goodwill might have links to the food banks.
I don't know what that means. I'm only 7 years old.
Well, don't ask me. I don't know where that is. I don't even know where you are.
I mean, at this point, we're on the phone together, so legally, you're going to have to help me get some milk.
I'm going to help you all the way from the other
side. You're some child neglect. You're going to be in big trouble.
That's enough. Yeah, you know why I don't like to deal with the damn phone. It's like every time I have to deal with the damn phone, it's the same bullshit. That's why I only like to deal with the phone once a week. It's every time I have to do it every day, it never stops. What do you think, James? Am I right or not?
Is it gone?
About these calls that come in.
Is it gone, Michelle?
It frustrates me. Because I know that they're trying to trigger me, but it just kind of frustrates me because I do know that there are some legitimate callers out there. And those legitimate callers, the ones that are sincere, the ones that really do want to ask a real question, the ones that really do want to talk about real things, they can't talk about the real stuff because, unfortunately, the BS callers make me so freaking mad I turn the phone off. And I bet that light that's flashing right now is probably one of those BS colors again. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, dumb bitch. Why did you hang up on me? I'm trying to get some milk.
What's your name?
My name is Fred,
It's
and
the
my
same
little
color,
brother is
Michelle.
Jackson.
Okay.
I'm 7 and he's 5, and you need to get your ass down here with the milk because that's what my daddy said you were going to do. So bring your fire truck over here and bring over the milk. Otherwise, you go to jail, lady, for child neglect.
You gonna let me talk, or you gonna keep flapping your teeth? Because right now I was just trying to ask you a simple question. What was it you wanted to ask me?
I want you to hurry up and bring over the milk.
What is he saying?
Milk,
My
Michelle.
daddy
Milk.
said you was coming over with a fire truck to drop off some milk. And we need some because we're so hungry.
Well, Ginger Marie was just trying to say something. You just stepped all over her. Go ahead, Ginger.
I'm 7,
okay,
lady.
Michelle.
I'm 7 years old.
Okay. This is what a foreign waste of food money. You have to get a legit call.
If somebody child abuse me to show up with the fire truck and milk. And turn the silence on too when you spread the milk.
Well, let me
You're
just
so
say to
hungry.
this one question. I'm talking about the caller in chat here. And the phone calls, these lines do have legitimate callers that call in. The problem is they're not during the show. And that's the problem.
Lady, are you gonna fucking come over here and give me some milk?
I ain't got no milk!
You're gonna get some fucking milk because you're gonna go to jail for child abuse. You understand me? You're going to jail. They're gonna lock you up, lady. If you don't get over here with your fire truck and bring us some milk.
I'll let you talk to Ginger, because I'm actually, I don't want to get in the middle of this. Go ahead, Ginger. You talk to the guy.
Let me put my brother on the phone. Let me put my brother on the phone. Y'all got some milk? Hello?
I get it. Milk, milk, milk.
I get what the sentence says.
Y'all got some milk?
This month I bought 4 gallons of milk. Trust me.
My daddy said you gonna come over with a fire truck and bring us some milk. You got some milk, lady? Miss?
Oh, for God's sakes, no way. No.
Yeah, my daddy told me, he said, "Little Darrell, this lady gonna bring you some milk when you call her on a fire truck. And so can you come in? Can you make it go wee woo wee woo?"
Facebook, Nons to your group. Today is my birthday. That's what Nana Sante says to my Facebook group.
You gonna bring over some milk?
Okay. So
is the cow's milk or breast milk you need?
What about the milk? I'm only 5 years old.
Oh, Jesus. You were 7 a second ago, now you're 5.
Milk. We need it because we're so hungry. So, when you going to be over with the milk?
So...
Excuse me.
Michelle, let's talk about Sandy Hook and not about milk.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me pause the call for a second here. What?
Let's talk about Sandy Hook. Day is National Bacon Day. Not here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Sandy Hook.
Oh, something else? Go to.
Oh, Jesus, Michelle. Sandy
Lady,
Hook.
are you on your...
Sandy Hook. Okay, sure. Sandy
Are you
Hook.
on your way with the fire truck? Because me and my brother, we so hungry.
What do you know about Sandy Hook in Newtown, Connecticut?
I don't know, bitch. I'm 5 years old. I just know I want a fucking cup of milk with my cereal.
Okay,
and that your ass is supposed to come over on a goddamn fire truck and bring it.
Sandy Hook was an elementary school in Newtown, Connecticut.
Call her, Michelle.
Okay.
Are you bringing over that milk?
All right. So you want me to ring off this guy now, or
enough about milk?
All right.
I want you to bring over the fucking milk.
That's enough of that. We can talk about Sandy Hook, but I don't know. Okay. First of all, let's talk about the facts. Number one.
Okay, you tell me what you know, and I'll tell you what I know.
Okay. One. Several plaintiffs in the Sandy Hook civil case have said that Alex Jones deliberately destroyed documents, purportedly saying that he said it was a cover-up or a fake false flag. Guess what? YouTube can almost be alleged of colluding with Donald Trump because they erased his YouTube channel, and that's where the Sandy Hook videos were located. Likewise, I don't think that there's any actual documents still remaining, because even if you go to the Internet Wayback Machine, those messages are not even available from Twitter back then.
But many people besides Alex Jones have covered that Sandy Hook was a false flag. It's not just Alex Jones. There's plenty of videos out there on YouTube.
Yeah, you said something about that the people were crisis actors.
Yes, crisis actors. Yes.
Well, we're on a related topic. What about what happened in another school situation, such as the Parkland shooting? Now, if you remember, there's another situation where people claim that there were crisis actors involved, in addition to a fact that a sheriff that didn't want to do his job.
Do you know, Michelle, that people in Ireland had guns until 1993, until a man went into a school and shot it up, just like what's happening in America, and the Irish were told by the government to give up their guns? Think about it. What does the people in power in America want? They want their citizens not to have firearms, so they push that agenda. All these false flags, bombings, school shootings, they're all bullshit.
Could you repeat that? I didn't quite get all that.
Okay, I said in Ireland, till 1993, the population had the right to have guns.
Right.
But a shooter went into a school and supposedly shot up a school, so the Irish people had to give up their guns. That was the agenda from day one. So now, the only people that can have a gun have to hold a license and get what we call Garda clearance here, which you would call cop clearance in America. Are you following me?
In the United States, to have a gun, you need to go for a permit. And here's the thing.
But
a lot of the people that have guns legally are very responsible people. However, there are those such as MS-13, Los Solitos, gangs, and other members of other gangs that have guns that are not legally owned guns.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the gangs. We're talking about normal citizens that have guns in America, that have the right to have guns in America.
In this case, and I'm trying to mention the gangs, it only is because of one reason. You can easily get a gun illegally without even trying very hard.
And the same here, it's easy to get a gun, but the majority of people are not armed. The cops aren't even armed in this country. People don't have rights to have guns here. They want to do that to America, to take away your rights to guns, so that the population don't have guns. So they stage all these false flags.
But here's one question. Is it any safer?
The parents never seen the bodies, Michelle. They never looked at their children's body. I'm a mother to 3 kids.
Okay, I will give you some slack there. I haven't seen the caskets either. I haven't been to the memorial services.
I saw the caskets in the church. I saw the caskets in the church on the news like everybody else, but the parents did not view their bodies.
Right, so the caskets were closed caskets. They weren't open caskets.
And the medical examiner, hours after the shooting, that said that he'd gone into the school and said that most of the children had died from multiple gunshot wounds or gunshot wounds to the head, was a crisis actor. He was so uncomfortable. He was giggling inappropriately while giving a description of what happened to those kids. Look it up on YouTube. The Parker family, the father took the Parker family about 9 hours after they were killed in the
what
school.
about Adam Lanza and Adam Lanza's mother? He shot his mother when she was asleep.
Okay, listen to me. How could the media get it so wrong in the first couple of hours that Adam Lanza's mother worked in the school that he was in, or that she was a nurse in the school that she was in? They had all the information all wrong. And why is his photos on the internet photoshopped? Why would the media release photos of him that were photoshopped? Why would they have to photoshop his pictures?
Okay, so one question.
And there,
since you said that you've heard,
Michelle, there's a death certificate. Oh. There's a death certificate. If you look online, there's a death certificate for Adam Lanza that's a week old. He died a week.
All right, here's my question I want to ask. Okay, I'm trying to understand this. Since you said it was not just Alex Jones who said this, why are they trying to sue Alex Jones when they're not supposed to be trying to sue the other so-called conspiracy theorists who said about it being fake? I still would like to know.
To me, Michelle, as a big conspiracy theorist for many years, Alex Jones is a disinformation agent. He is put out there to put out the wrong information to people that like to look into stuff besides the normal media. And any person that is a truth seeker would not be pushing their own agenda for money and selling their supplements and their products and their this and their that. They wouldn't do it. They would care for all people, and they would give the message to people with no agenda behind it. He has an agenda: money, money, money. Nobody acts the way that he acts. It's insane the way that he goes ranty and goes crazy. It's not right in any level. So this is another false flag, putting him off the internet, taking him off YouTube. He's banned from Pornhub. What the hell? He was never... that's an adult website, and they banned Alex Jones from it. Makes no sense. Not like he's ever going to stream on there.
Okay, but the point is, he says Alex Jones.
It's a false flag to let people know that the end of freedom of speech is coming.
Well, here's one question I'd like to ask. Okay, now, when if you are on the Uber left and you basically say that you're going to censor Alex Jones' speech, his right to talk, aren't you, in essence, actually making him a martyr? And actually, it's very similar in concept to what happens when you have what could happen with the Rodney King beating in Los Angeles, for example. I know it's not quite the same, but I'm going to use this example. Or several other type of situations where somebody is oppressed, and in their case, they're being held down by what people call the man or the system. Because of what has happened, he's become a lightning rod. Everybody talks about Alex Jones. They're still talking about it to this day. Instead, it's just like when you talk about, I suppose, if Jesus was alive in the 21st century and he was going to be crucified, that the people of the Pharisees and Sadducees of the Jewish community would say, hey, we're going to finally get rid of this guy. And yet, his followers, the disciples, would be like, they realized that they would
Michelle, he had there's a fine line between freedom of speech and racism, and his was attacking Muslims constantly. Everything was Muslims this, Islam that, and you can't do that in today's world. So he was pushing boundaries for years and years. And this is his downfall, but I think that it's a false flag once again to let the population know freedom of speech is coming to an end.
Yeah, but you know, here's the funny thing. And someone pointed out, as I said, that he's become a lightning rod. But here's the truth. Even before Alex Jones, people on YouTube of the right, people on the right side, YouTube channel like mine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Michelle. But you then people are what would they have? What would social media or YouTube gain from taking down your channel? I mean, you don't talk about Muslims and you don't talk about whatever. Alex Jones was talking about 9/11 was an inside
Right, I don't
job.
talk about the same stuff he does because most of the time, I'll be honest, I don't always follow his channel, but I do follow other channels.
I haven't for many years, but I did follow him. But censorship is happening for a long, long time. Like Alex Jones, we have David Ackyle in England. Well, he's in the Isle of Man, and he's a conspiracy
But here's
theorist
a concern,
as
and
well.
this is the reason
And
why
most
I'm bringing
of
it up, is this. And
Say it
you
again?
censor, when you say, even if the person is a crackpot, oh, you're not allowed to talk because I think you're a nut job, for example. Because I'm saying that you, in this case, metaphorically, the person, you, not you. Anyway, but I'm saying that individual's a nut job, okay? And I'm telling the people that I will not allow them to speak their piece, even if it is crackpot. Okay, it doesn't matter. The minute I say that you can't talk, you can't speak, I will not allow you to talk. I will ignore everything you say, yada, 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 yada. It's not the solution, because there's a lot more Alex Jones out there, and some of them are not as big as he is. I've seen some of the channels, trust me. But I'm saying is it goes against the United States Second Amendment. Oh, actually, that's the First Amendment. The right to assemble, the right to free speech.
David Ackyle is the same as Alex Jones, and he takes to the stage all over the world, and he talks for hours, 8, 9 hours, seminars he gives on his topics, and he's into reptilians and other stuff like that. And he went to Sydney, and they locked him out of a place that he'd booked. He's gone to parts of England, and they've stopped him from giving speeches there. And that is in the last 2 years. So that's 2 years ago that he's been stopped from his freedom of speech to say what he wants. He's not allowed to do that either.
Well, I'm just trying to say is it's just like with YouTube, just what YouTube was doing and they're still doing. Now it's just Alex Jones, but you all know what they call the ad apocalypse, right? Prior to, and actually started around earlier on in 2016 before the election. Anybody who had said anything that was on the right, anybody that was pro-Trump, got the channels demonetized. Okay, I was going through a lot of heck trying to keep my monetization at the time, because every time I opened my mouth, my videos are being demonetized by the ad apocalypse. No matter what I did. I worked hard, but obviously when Susan Wojcicki did that was kind of the nail in the coffin. But the point is that that was mostly being done to people on the right side. It wasn't being done too much on the left. It was anybody that supported Donald Trump got demonetized.
Okay, Michelle, let me ask you this. Do you think that the normal people of America would vote Trump in when he had no political career behind him?
Could you repeat that?
Did you hear me, Michelle?
No, I didn't. I have to repeat it.
I said, do you honestly think that an everyday American voted Trump in to be president when he has no political career behind him?
That's the amazing thing, is that he was able to get into office with no political career behind him.
So do you not think that he might be just planted there, and that he's just a little puppet, and that there's other people above him running the country?
The reason why people wanted to vote for Donald Trump is because of just that. He's not a career politician. Okay,
But
he's a business guy.
Did you see the games that he pulled? Did you see how he got Russia to hack Hillary Clinton's emails in the last couple of years of the campaign, in the last couple of weeks of the campaign, so that all eyes were on her and the seedy things that were said inside her emails?
So you know they still couldn't find those 33,000 emails.
Yes, and I've read some of them. Have you read them?
Did the KGB, FSB have them? No.
They're online if you want to read them. I mean, all you've got to do is hashtag Pizzagate.
All right, wait. You saying that all those 33,000 emails that the Federal Bureau of Investigation are looking for are online?
They're online. The majority of them are online, or even just hashtag Pizzagate and Pizzagate emails, and you'll see what
the Pizzagate ones. Yeah. I know about the Pizzagate ones.
But she had gone to Haiti before that and taken money out of Haiti after they had some natural disaster, and they'd moved children around the borders from there. Why would the Clintons go in and do that? Why would they take children from Haiti and board them on a bus?
I have no idea.
Take them out of the country. I'm telling you, the whole system is corrupt, and it's not just America; it's all over the world.
Oh, I know.
We are in a box, and we don't live as free people, and that's the truth. We get up in the morning, we go to work, we do what we need to do. We're paying high taxes. We're paying a mortgage for land that should be our own. We have a house that we're paying mortgage on to the bank. The bank prints the money from paper. It's all bullshit, Michelle. That's me. Forever Creations.
Just somebody was asking about here. Someone said, "Forever consciousness said whoever speaking is very informed." I'm just explaining who that is. That is Mary. Spelled that wrong. Damn it!
It's me, the crazy Irish person.
Via Discord. So
Michelle, you should watch some of David Ackle's streams. You should watch it. You should watch him. You should follow him.
Which movie?
Say it again, Michelle.
I said, which movie should I watch?
David Ackle.
Oh.
He's like Alex Jones, but he's a bit out there. His theories are very
Alex Jones is the only thing I listen to.
When David Ackle became famous, he actually professed to the media in the UK that he was the son of God, and he was ridiculed and laughed out of it. So he had to take it one step further and build his career to where he is today. He gets thousands of people to sit in his audience while he does 8-9 hour speeches on all the agendas that are going on all over the world. And he predicts things that are going to happen in the year to come, and mostly they follow suit.
Have you checked out that video I mentioned a couple days ago about Mark Taylor?
I haven't. Yeah, ICKE is Ackle. Ackle. I can't even say it.
So what did you think what Mark Taylor said?
He's good when he gets down to David Ackle.
Well, because Mark Taylor was pretty firmly aware or adamant that God appointed him to be very important for the future. Talk about Donald Trump. So I think that means something. Whereas Mark Taylor says, I am not a prophet. I don't call myself a prophet. But yet...
Michelle, who did you say?
Mark Taylor says... He said, I am not a prophet. I don't consider myself a prophet.
Okay. You said Alex Jones is a prophet, no?
Excuse me? I gotta use the facilities.
Michelle, you're cutting in and out. I can't hear you.
I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. So, you want to talk to the audience? See if you can read the chat. You can talk to them while you use the bathroom, so at least there won't be any dead air.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay.
Yep. Come on, get up here. Can't be all alone. Yes, golden living. I don't know, like, would she not get them free in, I don't know. You get them free here if you were disabled. You get free medical care here, though. This is my new channel. I can't talk to myself. Okay, I'll talk to myself. It's 1 a.m. One. No, our system, nothing is free. God, I'm telling you, Living Golden, it's a completely different system here and in the UK. In the UK, you have everything is free. All you have to pay for is a prescription for medications. And the same here. It depends on your household income. We get a lot of stuff here that you wouldn't get in America. We get a thing called child allowance every month. Every Irish mother gets an allowance from the government to feed and clothe your children, basically. No matter if you were a millionaire, everybody gets it. You friends in Scotland, yeah. The disabled are really looked after here. They're housed and really, really, really looked after. They have good medical care. But the hospital system and the healthcare system are shit. But other than that, we still get,
Okay, I'm back. Thank you for waiting for me. Thanks for covering. I had to go pretty bad. Alright, so he says, yeah, I have friends in Scotland. No, our systems...
I was just talking about the healthcare system here, Michelle, and in the UK. The healthcare system.
What's that?
You have free healthcare here and free healthcare in the UK.
Yeah, they do, but unfortunately, United States doesn't. Canada does.
It's crazy. And in America, to have a baby, you have to pay like $4,000 or $5,000. Here in Ireland, you get free pregnancy care. We'll say up until you have the baby, you have that free at hospital, unless you want to go private, and that will cost you about $3,000. And then you get 6 weeks aftercare for baby and you for free.
So is there, according to the way your health system works, is there any time when a person actually, based on financial policies, when they have to pay for the medical care, like if they make over a certain income?
Your income, you can get a thing like you have there, health insurance. Your income would want to be colossal to have to meet the criteria to have to get your own insurance. So you'd want a very, very, very high income.
Well, since we're talking about something else I know a little more about is insurance, is that I notice, now this may have changed since this is back in the 90s, okay, is that if you don't have insurance at that time in the United States, doctors didn't want to see you.
Forever. Actually, we're not the only country. Poland does it as well, and it's very small in Poland, the subsidy for mothers, but it's really small in Poland, and there's another country as well that do it. England do it. It's not as much as Ireland. I think it's like £40 every 2 weeks you get per child you have, and they do other things for disabled people here. They have grants, they have cars where you can get tax and revenue off it that you don't have to pay. You can get the government will build you a house for a disabled person. They will for children that are disabled, they fall under
it's Core Dreams.
They fall under a thing called Enable Ireland, where they house all their doctors, surgeons, psychologists, everything under the one roof until they're 18.
Speaking of medical care, something.
I know a woman on YouTube, Michelle, that ran out of her insurance. Okay, it lapsed her insurance. She was going through chemotherapy. She couldn't get her medications because she had no insurance, and she had to pay 12,000 for a month's supply of chemo tablets or whatever kind of tablets she was taking. 12,000 because the insurance had lapsed.
That brings the first question up: is why are some of these medications so expensive? I mean, it's $12,000 a month.
I mean,
unless you happen to win the Powerball during that.
That's everywhere, Michelle. To buy a box of over-the-counter Panadols here would cost you 6-7 quid. You go up the north and you pass the border, and it'll cost you 37p for the same packet of painkillers. We pay through the nose for stuff here compared to England. It's the same in every country. Everything's hyped up. Now everything is the generic brands. So here, if you're going to get medication, they will give you the generic brands, the cheaper brands, than to give you the good brands.
Right. Yeah, well, I usually go for the generics when I can for my thyroid, so. Let's see. One of the questions I had, and this is something that came up about the military ban on transgendered. I'm just going to bring this up because it was asked by somebody, should the military have to pay for a person's transgender transition? And I said, no, because they get paid like every other conscripted soldier does. They got the money coming in. They can afford to pay for their own doctor. They don't need to have the federal government do it for free because they've already got it. They've already got their own income coming in. It's completely different if they were not paid, soldiers, but they are paid.
Okay, but you know that when you become a transgender person, Michelle, you have a life on hormones, and that's a life of money. You will have to pay for estrogen or estrogen or whatever they take, those injections that they have to take. Okay. So then, how many years do you have in the military when you're soon forgotten and you're a veteran thrown in the streets in America? You're
in the United States,
once as you walk out that door of the military. So if they did for transgender people, sign them up to, well, I think that law, whatever they were trying to do, I did read about it way back about the transgender women. They obviously have transitioned anyway. So obviously they have taken, if they are a man, they have joined the army as a man and then transitioned to a woman.
Right.
So if they, whatever, Michelle. It's gone
over
my head.
Here's what I say. Okay, let me tell you, there's the policy in the United States. It's called the Benjamin Standards of Treatment. Basically, the way it works is you go through several years, at least a year, 2 years, to determine if your gender dysphoria is legit. If it's legit, then you have to spend at least 1 year doing what they call the real life test, or RLT, which is basically you live as the opposite gender. And at that point, you can also probably start with plastic surgery to do things like...
Okay, Michelle, but what do you think of these 9, 7, 6, 8-year-olds that are transgender, they're born at May?
I'm not really sure what to make of this.
Let's say like that girl on TV, she's 16 and she was transgender since the age of 4. I mean, I don't know. And there's so many people coming out as transgender. Is it a fad? And then there's so many people that have transitioned and detransitioned. So are they even making the right choices when they go to these psychologists to see if they've got identity disorders?
Well,
is there such a thing?
That's a good
as far as I know, you're born a woman or you're born a man.
Well, I mean, the thing is, that's one area, even on hermaphrodite, you know, I'm trying to understand the transgender community, because, I mean, I have a few friends that are transgender. But I just don't quite, I'm sorry, but my brain just kind of like has a hard time wrapping around this couple of topics. Number one, okay, I understand that it's the nature versus nurture. That's part of it, okay? And second thing is that maybe they feel that they don't fit in because of the stereotypical roles that our society, for example, establishes for men and women. That could be another factor. But at the same time, especially when you're doing the RLT, it's like they ask themselves, which bathroom are you supposed to use? And I mean, I'm a hermaphrodite. Okay, I'm between. Okay, medically, I'm genuine. Now, in my case, that same question keeps coming up in my head. Which bathroom am I supposed to use? My birth certificate says female, so that should be easy.
What does your birth certificate say?
Female.
Michelle.
So, since it says female, or girl,
female,
or woman,
well, then you go to the bathroom in the girls'
right, so you use the ladies' room. But if you are transgender...
Michelle, how come no surgeon ever asked you to have an operation?
Nope, didn't have to. They didn't think it was necessary. But here's the point.
I always thought that at birth they operate. No matter what country, they always operate at birth.
When I was a kid, I think there was a little bit of misunderstanding about what hermaphrodites really were. But let me get to the main point here, okay, which is this.
Okay.
Transgender, okay, if you're a trans woman, okay, in other words, you're going from male to female. Your birth certificate says male. You gotta pee. You see, do 2 doors in front of you. You're wearing a dress, possibly some nice makeup, and maybe have your hair coiffed up nice. Which bathroom are you supposed to go in? And let's make it more awkward. You're with friends that do not know you're transgender.
In America, don't, Michelle.
In the United States. In the United States.
And in restaurants and stuff.
I'm talking about in a public restaurant. Maybe we're entertaining some friends at a restaurant, and you gotta pee. And like I said, your friends don't know you're transgender. You appear female, you smell female, you look female, but your birth certificate still says guy. Now, how much bathroom are you supposed to use when you gotta go? You got your friend sitting at the table. They see you going into two doors. Which door are you supposed to pick? Well, you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want
to... Whichever sexuality you choose. So you're either male or female. So if you're choosing to be female, you use the female bathroom. What the guidelines that they're trying to do is push the agenda that these transgenders are freaks and pedophiles. That's what they're trying to do when they're trying to segregate them to have their own bathroom. It's not right that if they had... I can't, Michelle. It's over my head. It's too late. I can't get into it.
Okay, I understand. The point is
all I know,
you can understand. You can understand. I think in part.
Michelle, listen to me.
I think you can understand in part where the poor conundrum is with the individual. Okay, which one are you supposed to use?
Max, we don't have circumcision in Ireland unless it's medically needed.
And that's the reason why...
Put your child through that doctor.
What's
Michelle,
that?
this is what I'm saying to you. I saw a news, I think it was CNN, a news clip, maybe it wasn't CNN. They said that there's 64 different sexualities.
Yes, I've heard of that.
What? This generation is depraved. I don't know what's going to happen with the next one. I fear for my children.
This generation is subcategorized and specialized themselves, just like the medical profession has medical doctors that cover specific parts of the body. They have specific gender classifications for 64 classes of gender. You got pansexuals, asexuals, bisexuals, trisexuals, no sexuals, which would be asexuals, I suppose. And then you
Michelle, there's even YouTubers that have millions of followings, mostly children, and they're binary, or they're nothing. They're in between. They're a girl one day and a boy one day.
Oh, I know.
And they've got children, and their children they have no sexuality.
And that's the reason why, like I said, the simple, even the simple example, even the simple reality of going to urinate is going to basically drive a person literally batshit. I mean, you know what some poor transgenders do? They wear diapers.
Okay, tell me.
Do you know why? because, especially when they're entertaining guests, because they don't want to have to deal with that awkwardness, especially in public places.
If you're entertaining guests, Michelle, they're going to know that you are either male or female, and they're going to go with the flow. They're not going to say, "Oh Jesus, you can't go in that bathroom."
Well, you see, you got to understand from what
anyway,
what the
other
transgender feels. The transgender has a self-conscious feeling. That's part of the problem, and that's where part of the gender dysphoria comes in.
It is, Michelle, it all falls down to exactly what someone said there in the chat. What we watch on TV, what children are seeing on TV growing up, what little boys are seeing on TV, and they don't know if they're a boy or a girl. I don't believe, and I'm not racist against anyone, transgender is not. I don't believe that you can be born a boy and then decide at such a young age that you want to be a girl. I don't believe it. Maybe it's the way of the new generations dealing with homosexuality that they
I
think
think there's
transgender.
I think there's a gender for this too. It's called gender fluid. There's actually
yes, but Michelle,
and that's
when
part
you
of.
are born and you
And
are being cooked in the womb,
and I think you'll agree with me on this, and so have other people said the same thing, that they think that the reason why they're pushing this so much is that they want to totally screw up normalcy and the norms of human society.
They
where
want to
all
normalize
the
it,
standards
and that is why
of what is normally expected, it goes out the window, and that's what part of it is.
Michelle, listen to me. They want to normalize it to the people, us, the masses. They want, like the celebrities that are transgender, like Caitlyn Jenner, who in God's name at the age of 74, after having 6 kids, after having 2 marriages, and being married for over 25 years, would turn around and say, I'm transgender, and transition at that age, in public, on TV, to create the stir that he did. People were guessing before he ever came out, was he transgender? When he was married to the wife, he had shaved down his Adam's apple. It's all weird. He started to grow his hair long. It's not normal. I don't think so. I think this world is depraved. This generation.
I think part of it is just that.
And Michelle, I don't think that you can be born male and think that you're a female, because when you are being made, when a man and a woman biologically make a child, you are given the X or the Y chromosome, male or female, and that is it. You're ordained to be that when you're born, and sometimes genetics crosswire. And
okay, well, what about Turner syndrome, and what about Klinefelter syndrome? Let's talk about those two. Turner syndrome and Klinefelter's. What do you know about those? Those are genetic conditions?
Yeah, my children have genetic conditions.
XXY and XXX and XYY are medical conditions causing, better known as Turner syndrome, and which affects women, and Klinefelter's that affects men. Now, those are medical DNA tests.
That's all to do with genes. So
that has to do with genes and your chromosomes.
Michelle, that's all to do with genetics, Michelle. Because when I met my partner, my husband, many years ago, we were children, and we got together. We didn't know there was anything genetically wrong with him until we had our 3rd child, and then we were handed this disease. We had to genetically test each child. They all came back positive for the disease that he had that we didn't know he had. He lived 28 years of his life without being diagnosed with it. We never knew he had it.
Well, in 1968, they didn't do that.
My friend met a man, Michelle, and she had a baby with him, and both of them had the gene for cystic fibrosis. They had a little boy that's very, very sick. He's 7 or 8 now. They went on to have they risked 2 more pregnancies, and the chances were 75%, and they had 2 other healthy babies. And they met in the flu, that they both carried this gene. Nobody knows what goes on inside in the body. And now my children have the dominant form of it, so it's going to be in my generation of my family for years to come, because unless they can afford IVF, each of their children will have a 50-50 chance of having muscular dystrophy if they decide to have children.
Right. Well, because I'm the only person in my family that is publicly known to be legally blind, I'm not going to ever bother trying to breed, because the fact of the matter is I can't anyway. But if I could pass genetic material, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to have a legally blind child. I don't want to have a child with hearing loss. I have enough problems just dealing with my own hearing loss and my own eyesight issues than try to bring a little Michelle in the world with the same problems.
Is it genetic, Michelle?
What's that? No, genetics you can't change. But that's
you can living golden. You can change genetics if you want to go for IVF or artificial insemination,
right?
Or use some other sperm for a child. I don't know. I wouldn't do any of that.
Right.
But you can change genetics that way, and you can actually go to a clinic.
And actually, to answer the person, yes, you can change the genetics because there's another way.
In the clinic, and they will do it 10, 20 times over. And each baby that has a genetic disease that they've cooked in the plate, they'll fuck it in the bin, and you'll only be given the good one.
Well, first of all, to answer Living Golden's question, technically, yes, you can change genetics. It's called genetic manipulation, which includes gene splicing. So, yes, you could change it before the child goes into the beginning of cellular division. You could change the genetics, because remember, there's a total of 52 chromosomes for a human being, 26 in the man, 26 in the mother, female. So you want to change the child's hair color before they even bother born? You go ahead, which is related to in vitro fertilization, like you mentioned. You go ahead, you take the egg, you take the chromosomes from the mom. You got to take one sperm from the old man. Basically, you can change that genetic material, the sequences, to produce, say, black hair versus red hair.
Not right.
The point is
that's not right in any level, Michelle. I don't think that's right.
But you know what's really interesting is we're coming to the point where right now we can actually produce babies without boys even being in part of the equation. A couple years ago, they came out in London with artificial sperm.
You can actually go, like, I never knew any of this until my cousin married her my husband's cousin married her partner. Two lesbians went to a clinic. They could pick the donor, his work, his medical history, the color of his eyes, the color of his hair, his intelligence, his IQ level, the whole lot. You can pick it. You can have a designer baby these days. It's crazy.
Right. But here's the thing. They came out with this, and this is about 2000. I read this article. They figured a way to make artificial sperm out of a person's own stem cells. So a woman can literally impregnate herself with her own genetics material. So think about that. If you mean, what the hell would you need a man for? You wouldn't need a man anymore because he would be just like a left foot, an extra left foot. Because you already they're saying is, I want to make another Ginger Marie. I'm going to go ahead and basically get the lab, make artificial sperm, do IVF, boom. Now I'm got another little Ginger Marie on the way. And guess what? That's exactly what they were doing. And this is where ethics kick in and say, should we be doing this? Or should we not be doing this? Should we be not making customized?
I don't think it's right in any level. I don't know.
It's tough, right? It's hard. Because it's like, I mean, sure, you might say, well, yeah, if I don't have to have a child with any kind of family disabilities or the risk of getting cancer or muscular dystrophy or mental retardation or Asperger's. But then again, you might say, well, maybe if I start playing God, then...
Yes, and Michelle, here, only within the last couple of months they've brought in, the whole country voted on abortion, and they've brought in the clinics here. The criteria will be rape, suicide. If you're suicidal while pregnant, they will give you an abortion. The criteria is really, really long. They should have never brought it in here. The Irish people that wanted to have an abortion had to. No, mess. We don't. Three's enough for me. The Irish people, if an Irish woman wanted to have an abortion, first of all, you can be arrested and charged with fetal homicide.
Right.
If found out. This was up until a couple of months ago. Other than that, you would take the boat or the plane to England to go for your abortion. They should never have brought it in here. It's all a money scam as far as I'm concerned. 67% of the babies that are aborted in England are healthy babies. It's crazy. People walk into abortion clinics like sweet shops.
They walk into abortion clinics because
I think
it's the same in the United States. It's always women that choose to go through abortions, to Planned Parenthood. A lot of the time, the mothers see the baby as an unwanted pregnancy. That's what they call it, an unwanted pregnancy. Well, the thing is why in the hell did you basically make love to somebody and not expect that you were going to get pregnant? That's the whole point of sex. It's not to be a recreational activity. Now, that's what makes it so hard.
Michelle, it is a recreational activity, and there is ways to protect yourself from getting pregnant. In today's age, you have the right to take contraception and not have a baby.
You're right, you do.
I'm still pro-choice. If that's people's thing and that's what they want to do, that's fine. But Ireland was run by the Catholic Church until they've screwed up along the way, and now they've brought in these laws. But what I'm trying to say is that they're trying to eradicate races of people. They're trying to eradicate the Down syndromes. With this new abortion thing, there's going to be no more Down syndromes in the place. We need, I would never get rid of a baby if I was told it was Down syndrome. I'd have it, and that's it. Like, I don't know.
Well, let me answer one question before it goes off my screen. Forever Consciousness asked me, Michelle, have you ever had a consultant with a laser eye surgeon? They say work wonders, but I'm not sure every condition is eligible for safe laser surgery. You're talking about for the cataract? The answer is, I have talked to a doctor, an ophthalmologist, and he says, I really cannot say with a definitive answer if I can do a cataract removal with your eyesight because of your lateral nystagmus. Your eyes go back and forth way too much. The 1 millimeter incision would probably end up being a 4 millimeter incision, and it's going to probably result in some potential loss of vision. It's risky as heck to do laser eye surgery.
I thought, Michelle, that they would be able to pin the eye when you would be asleep. They'd pin your eye and it wouldn't move. Or does your eyes move when you're asleep too?
They move when I'm asleep too.
They do?
Yes.
Michelle, you don't even listen to me half the time. She didn't say sexist. She said sex was not a recreational activity. Sex.
Right, sexual intercourse for many people is considered a recreational activity. That's what I said.
Yes, because it is.
Because it's enjoyable. That's why. And then we'll speak up on that behalf. It is enjoyable for many people. And unfortunately, that, like I said, there's repercussions for it. It's not what it meant to be, but that's what it has become. So women consider an unwanted pregnancy like I consider an unwanted tax bill. Deal with it, get it out of my hair. I don't want to.
There shouldn't be unwanted pregnancies in today's day and age. There shouldn't be, because now there's contraception for men and women. There shouldn't be unwanted pregnancies.
But part of the problem is that, especially since, and this goes back quite a ways, let's be honest here, this is not a new thing, we have made sex look cool. Since the 70s, 80s.
Yes, absolutely. And we've made the next generation think that all women will break moves out in bed like a porno movie. And it just doesn't happen in real life.
Right, and that's just
teenagers growing up these days are watching
it's dehumanizing
porn and
because
sex, and
it's dehumanizing to the human being because, you know, it makes, like, I mean, from the 70s, I mean, you have to understand from a young man's perspective. Okay, I was born in 1968, 1988, I was 20 years old. Just to have a good background here. 1988, TV was like, all these men, all these commercials particularly, were making women look like attractive, beautiful, you know, really, really attractive, you know, hot, you know. And then, of course, that 20-year-old, especially the boys, you know, they're active, you know, and they're going to want that. And what was happening was Fifth Avenue and Hollywood was glamorizing it. And every time you see a movie, it's always about a man and a woman, and they're always going in and they're doing it in the movies. Or they're implying that they're doing it in the TV show.
I'm not talking about in the movies, Michelle. I'm talking 20 years ago, if you wanted to watch a porno, 25 years ago, you had to go into some CD, whatever, video shop to try and get a porno under the counter. Today, you just have to type it into Google and thousands of hits come up. It's just not...
Thanks to places like Pornhub and X-Hamster, that's just it.
How do you know those names, Michelle?
I know about that stuff, trust me. I have.
But I'm just saying, and then we have the generation of teenage boys and girls that are growing up and they're clicking on that stuff and they think those demoralizing acts are normal, and they're not, and they're in the bushes or the back of cars having freaky sex, and it's just not normal. And then they grow up and I don't know, when I was a teenager there was none of that. Everyone was afraid of getting pregnant. You didn't do nothing when I was a teenager. You just didn't.
Oh, I know.
You'd be afraid of getting pregnant.
In fact, I think we're almost the same. Actually, you're a little bit younger than me. Okay, I think you're about 20 years younger than me. I think something like that.
I'm 30, nearly 31, but I'm an old woman before my time.
Okay. Well, anyway, the point here is today's kids, like you said, have no idea what real love is. When I say real love do you know love has 21 definitions in the dictionary, right? And it seems like if you watch, like you said, almost any teenager, especially now, they think that love is that you're gonna make love with that girl you met on the street, say 2 days ago. Because that's the way you see it on TV, you know? I met this girl 2 days ago, I just made love to her, and now I'm basically all happy, and my pipes are clean, and all that. And then she tells me she's pregnant, so she says she's going to go ahead for an abortion, and she go ahead, I think that's a great idea, blah, 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 baby's not wanted anyway. This is the reason, it is the reason why I think our society has become so disposable. Even to people who are, have you ever heard about the suicide game or something? I've actually heard about it, but this character called Mauna or something. I'm like, what the hell is this crap? I'm like, what's this suicide game thing? And that's something to do with phone numbers and suicide notes. And
I haven't heard of it.
I'm just finding this stuff out, and I was like, I don't believe my generation didn't do that. We didn't need Tide Pods either. We knew that was laundry soap.
Michelle, my mother is 60, okay, and when she was a youth, you had to write into the local paper to get them to post you condoms. You could not go into a chemist and buy them 60 years ago. You weren't allowed contraception anyway in Ireland, but you had to write into a paper to get them because it was unheard of to be having sex outside wedlock in Ireland 60 years ago. Now, nobody is in committed relationships these days because everybody's having sex with fucking everybody. And there's STDs everywhere. We have outbreaks of syphilis.
And I think it's actually
like at 90% here. It's absolutely crazy. And 20-year-olds have multiple, I'm talking about 50, 60, 70 sexual partners in a year. crazy. The
But
world
I think
is nuts.
I think, and that there's something in some organization, in some group. I'm not sure who. I've got a couple ideas, but I'm not absolutely sure if I'm right on this. Take that, guests. You think I know everything. Guess what? This is one area I'm not quite sure. There's some group that wants humanity to basically kill itself off. Think about it.
Michelle, have you watched, oh my God, I can't think of it. The Handmaid's Tale.
The what?
No, yes, can you hear me?
Okay, what did I watch the what show?
The Handmaid's Tale.
No.
You should watch that, and it's about fertility being wiped from the earth, and that the leaders can't have children themselves, so they get handmaids.
Oh yes, The Handmaid's Tale. I read the book. Oh yes, The Handmaid's Tale.
That's what's going to happen. I mean, they've made a contraception for men. I mean, from what it sounded like. It sounded like from The Handmaid's Tale. What I'm saying, Michelle, is they've given the option for a man to take contraception, and I wouldn't trust no man taking contraception. I just wouldn't. Taking a pill every day, because it's a man. He's probably not going to take it.
Right. It's also, like from what I've seen, if you watch I think it's on BuzzFeed, where the men were taking simulated, they're not real, they're just sugar pills. But the idea is, if a man was taking a birth control pill like a woman does during her cycle, at the things that he could do, well, how he has to take his pill at exactly a certain time. He said that's a lot of work. The guys that said that, they were part of this mock pill test.
Well, Michelle, they are putting hormones into our foods anyway to make men more feminine. More men, I think it was 3,000 Irish men this year had boob jobs to take away the boobs, the man boobs that they have. And it's because of the hormones they're putting in the food that the men are growing breasts like women. It's crazy.
And there's certain medications that do it too. It's called gynecomastia. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's also caused by plastic preservatives such as BPA, which was used in many flexible plastics that were used in baby products such as disposable bottles, contained BPA plastic. And the reason was it kept the plastic soft, so pliable, so it would be flexible. And my private line's ringing. Hold on, please.
Okay. Living Golden Stay. You're married 25 years. I've been with my husband 14 years this year, and we're married a year in October.
Okay, I'm back.
And we have a 10-year-old as our oldest.
It's just a call transfer. I had to transfer call over, but she hasn't picked up the damn phone yet. Oh, fuck.
Okay.
So, I call him in, please.
Okay.
Yeah, so plastics, BPA plastic, which is being used as a plasticizer, which is used in a lot of baby products, and even non-baby products, even like squeezable plastic containers like ketchup and mayonnaise and mustard containers. This stuff does really strange stuff to the male reproductive system. It also is used in plumbing, such as PVC pipes. So you can see how something that is being used as an industrial product is affecting the reproductive capability of boys.
Okay, but Michelle, I'm talking about we go to the shop and we buy a piece of steak and we come home and we fry it up and eat it. But that cow on the farm is being injected and filled with hormones, filled with toxins to make it hungry, So it will eat more, so it'll grow more, so that they will make more money at start when they sell the cow to slaughter, and we're consuming that. We're
Right, and
consuming
also,
hormones
is
in
this another
animals
thing
that
that's
shouldn't
causing
have
feminization? It's natural plant hormones, such as from soybeans. Soybeans is being grown and used worldwide as a filler for things like beef products. Now, plant soy, it's actually not called soy, but or estrogens. Plant estrogens have an impact on the male reproductive system as well. Now, if you go to a lot of fast food restaurants in the United States, I know you don't live in the U.S., so you may or may not see this as much, depending on what the European rules are. But in the United States, you can get a lot of food that contains soybean. In addition, we have soy milk, almond milk, tofu, which contains soybeans.
I don't know about the soya and meat though.
And yes, as far as meat products, because the soybeans is mixed with beef, to ground beef, because it makes it less expensive. People are always looking for the bottom line. They still say, I want a quarter pounder with cheese. Well, if you really priced up how much a real full 100% Angus beef quarter pounder would cost, they don't realize that restaurants would cut the Angus beef with soybeans. And that contains plant estrogens, which affects the development of the man, because his body's driven more for testosterone than by estrogen. So when you put estrogen in the body, normally the male system, you would think, oh, well, us testicles shall produce more testosterone. Well, it depends. Sometimes it can and sometimes it can't. But in this case, when it can't, the female secondary sex characteristics start to show up. And that's when you got what you mentioned about the men getting breasts and things like that. And also, in addition, certain medications are also causing this effect as well. In fact, I think it was Ritalin was one of them that was causing gynecomastia as well in boys.
Yeah, I heard that. I read that somewhere.
Yeah, and so the issue
Michele,
is
I don't think that they don't mix the meat here. It's 100% beef bought from local farmers, like McDonald's. You know the way you watch a documentary and it's vile, the meat that they use and the chicken nuggets that they use in America, how they make chicken nuggets. They don't do that here. It's 100% chicken and 100% beef.
That's because the European Union is very strict on what is allowed to be in the food. Whereas the United States...
Very strict in Ireland. Because what happened to us was, I say 4 or 5 years ago...
The United States are also allowed to use GMOs. Genetically modified organisms. Here
where they were selling frozen products with beef inside. And so we'll say frozen lasagnas, frozen spaghetti bolognese. And it actually was found to have more horse meat than cow's meat, and human DNA was inside in it too. It was a real big scandal. So people were eating horse and they didn't know because they thought it was a cow, and there was human DNA mixed into it too.
Yeah, well, that brings another thing. You're talking about in the United States, there's also such a thing called genetic modified organisms.
If you Google the Irish horse meat scandal, you can read all about it.
Well, the point I'm trying to say is the United States, the Food and Drug Administration, even though they have some rules on GMOs, a lot of GMOs were approved and are approved for the United States that the European Union will not allow in their country, in their system at all.
Michele, we in America they have morbidly obese people, okay, and here we have overweight people, probably morbidly obese people, but you wouldn't see them as much as you would in America, and I think it's because the Americans eat on the go and they eat shit food and they don't sit down and have a dinner. Here it's spuds and meat every day.
Right. Well, now let's talk about another related thing.
Shit food full of chemicals, and they're driving them crazy.
That's
They're
another
making their
thing,
heads
too.
crazy, and they're making men into women.
Right. And the thing is that in the United States, is that people used to say that the fat people used to be well-to-do. No, that's no longer the case. The fat people are the not so well-to-do. Because we end up eating a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of saturated fats. Because that's cheaper.
And it's because fruit is so expensive, Michelle. Like, fruit and veg is usually, like, here all summer long we had to import bananas.
Right.
And they were gone off by the time they came off the boat. I mean, it's crazy that they check, that we can't grow this food here. We're even importing Brussels sprouts from Australia. That's just crazy that the Irish farmers can't grow their own veg to sell them to the shops here. That we have to import.
Well, right now
like
you guys
that.
can't grow anything really anyway because of the drought. You guys have been.
No, we've got rain and stuff. It's come on. Well, there's a lot of burnt land, but we'll survive. I think we're going to have a hard winter because we had such a nice summer.
I mean, I've heard about the situation with your potato crops and how many it's been damaged because of the drought conditions in Ireland, and the same thing with the UK. And so, I know that. But so right now, you guys are importing food from other countries because your local farmers can't produce enough.
They have to meet, yes, and they have to meet certain guidelines. Like, we don't import any meat from China and stuff like that. And in America, they do. Even, I was watching a documentary, Michelle, and in New Zealand, they eat the meats of food that wouldn't be consumed in Australia itself. So they eat the fatty pieces of chicken that nobody would eat. They eat it every day out there, and they're morbidly obese.
You talking about the United States, or you talking about people in New Zealand?
What did you say?
So you talking about the people in the United States eating that, or the people in New Zealand eating that?
The people in New Zealand are eating these pieces of meat that no other country consumes. Giblets and stuff like that, chicken legs.
I suspect for the same reason why the same stuff is part of being imported into the United States. Because it's cheap, and that's it.
Yes, and like, I mean, like, I don't know, it's crazy. It's crazy to me that you can walk into a fast food outlet and you can buy a burger for $1. You couldn't make a burger at home for $1.
No. No, you know what? That's just it. It's like, in the case of the United States, everybody, like, especially back in the 80s, they're always talking about the obesity epidemic, right? Well, the thing was, is you look at what was going on with our food even back then. High salt, high sugar, high fat, high calories from sugar, fat, and salt. And then we, at the same time, we got all these health club memberships, right? You spend, just to come up with a number, let's just say $40 a year, okay? Just to come up with a number. I'll make it easy. Let's make it even. $48 a year for 12 months. So in other words, you may say $4 a month for membership for gym.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you're going to go, now I'm going to pay $4 extra each month to lose the pounds that I saved buying inexpensive, cheap food on food stamps. Because the poor, that's exactly what happens. You're talking to one. I know from personal experience what happens.
Yes, but Michelle, we're fed. We are fed. We are. I can't even. The media fills us up with shit. So they tell us fresh veg is the best.
That's what they tell us too.
And it's actually not. Frozen veg is better to eat because it's frozen straight away, so it keeps all its nutritional value.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And fresh veg, each day that you have fresh veg,
but
it loses it.
If you were in the urban environment, what they call the food islands.
Yes, but if you were in an urban environment where you
the
could,
good markets
but they're taking,
may not
Michelle,
be.
they're taking that right off people too. They're taking the farms off people. they have made mechanical farms where farmers don't even have to go into the milking parlor to milk their cows anymore.
Right.
Even though
it's automated.
Many years ago you had to do it by hand, and then you had a machine to do it, and now you have a robot to do it. And the same with the food. It's just, and they have the food, they're spraying chemicals.
The food island concept.
We should not be consuming the pesticides that they're putting on vegetables to make them grow. It's not right. We shouldn't be
and we shouldn't be eating GMOs either. But here's the problem. What I'm trying to get at is something that you may not have understood. In the inner urban cities, people who do not have easy access to transportation, or, as you pointed out, about the price of fresh produce and fruits, they are going to go where they can get food at a price they can afford. And if it happens to be the local convenience store down the street, because either A, taking the bus is too inconvenient, or that's too expensive to get fresh produce, for whatever the reason may be, for whatever the amount of food stamps they get, they're going to go where the wallet says they can afford to go. And those same people get fatter and more miserable, and their weight explodes, their spiritual demeanor takes a nosedive because they feel awful. They physically feel awful. They don't feel good. They're not regular. They look sickly.
And Michelle, yes, and they're overweight. And they've got diabetes, and they need medication for that. And they need to go to the doctor to get their blood pressure tests. Who gets money from that? The healthcare system. Then they're so obese they get to 600 pounds. They need a band in their belly. They go get that done. That costs hundreds of thousands that their insurance has to cover. It's all money, Michelle, at the end of the day.
It's a money game. That's just part of the whole problem. So if you have a morbidly obese and you got a diabetic problem and you got a high blood pressure problem, now the pharmaceutical industry kicks in and says, oh, now I can sell you your insulin. Now I can sell you your high blood pressure medication. Now you got to pay for that now too. Out of your meager whatever it is you had trouble with before. Now you got to pay for your medical costs. It's a game. Unfortunately, the problem is a game you cannot win.
Michelle, it's the same with the opiate epidemic. You fall and you hurt yourself, and you go for physiotherapy, and they will say to you, "Here, take these painkillers," and you start popping Oxycontin. 3 months later, you're addicted. Your doctor's not going to give you any more prescriptions. The law in America is that you can't doctor shop anymore. That if you take narcotics, you're put on a list and you're red flagged for narcotics.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Your option is not to get up. You're not. So the doctor that feeds them to you cuts you off, and then you have to go to the streets. Therefore, it is the healthcare system that creates the addicts.
It's just like I said. It's a game. It's a game. Like I said, you cannot win because it's all stacked against you. Okay, if you get addicted to prescription opioids and they take you off those, you're going to start taking street heroin because you still need that feeling because of the addiction. So now you went from a legal prescribed painkiller to a street grade, unregulated, tested street product, and that's where we see are about to start hearing about the opioid deaths. Okay, but the point here is it all starts is all part of a giant game, and it's not in your favor. It's never going to be in your favor. You're never going to win. That's what I'm trying to say.
And then Michelle, they put you into rehab, and they give you methadone, and you take methadone probably for the rest of your life. That's full of toxins, and you're still getting high from that every day that you're taking it.
Right, because methadone is also a narcotic. It's related to heroin, but not as strong. But that's right. It's still so. It's a game.
Yes. You're swapping one addiction for another, and people, you're supposed to go on methadone and wean yourself down and off it. People have been in methadone for 30 and 40 and 50 years. It's not right. So you're giving up one addiction for another. The same as the people that think when they smoke cigarettes
they wonder why the human race is getting sicker. It's so obvious. The only ones that are not getting sicker are, not surprisingly enough, are the will to do, because they know what's going on. They know how to avoid it because, number one, well, some of them don't. Some of them do screw up too, but many of them that do know don't have to worry about eating crappy food, for example, to start with, because they got money to pay for the best. Okay? Whereas the average John and Jane Doe may not know what's in that food, what's in that quarter pounder with cheese in the United States. They don't know. They just know it tastes good. And so that tastes good, I want to get a second one. Oh, and those French fries are delicious. Did you know one of the ingredients in French fries is sugar? Most people don't realize McDonald's French fries have sugar in them.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, it does. It's the only thing that doesn't have sugar in it is bottled water. There's sugar in the hamburger. There's sugar in the French fries. They also got salt, of course, in both. It's a game because the food scientists know what tastes good, and it's just like a junkie. They know what it takes to get you to come back, and they will use their food science to make you want to come back for that quarter pounder of cheese.
Yes, but if you notice, when you go to, we'll say you go to McDonald's, okay, and you order your meal, and they put your chips under the light, your fries, as you call them, we call them chips there. They put them under the fries. They pour a pound of salt on them, so that you will get extra thirsty to get an extra drink. That's
exactly. Another trick
so you've probably had 4 times your salt intake in the one chip, and then you've had 1,000 calories.
In short, you painted yourself into a corner. You can't win.
And even the reports like that, if you drink the diet, that will say the diet pop, or whatever you call it out there, you drink the diet fizzy drinks, that you're not taking in calories, but actually your body fills up with fat to try to break down the toxins that are inside in the diet drink, and you get fat anyway.
Right, and the problem is, of course, all that is designed that way on purpose. That's what the food scientists.
And even they've linked Diet Coke. They've linked it to MS, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's disease. That's 3 really big diseases that make money for the pharmaceutical companies. Because you're sick, you have to be medicated, you probably need operations down the road, countless medications, countless doctor's appointments, money, money, money.
Okay, let me ask you a related question, because you know what the problem is. What's the best way to deal with this problem? I mean, if you were somebody who was in the authority to come up with a solution to the issue, how would you begin to solve it? You know what the problem is, you know where it starts, you know where the enablers are. How do you fix it?
I think that if they were to eradicate everything, technology, and go back to old school beginnings and teach people how to cook and live in an environment, take care of yourself. We're reliant on everything. We're reliant on electricity to see the news, to hear what's going on in society. It wasn't like that in the olden days. You might have seen it in a newspaper, or you might have got a telegram, or someone came to you on a horse and told you a story. Nowadays, Michelle, everything is technology. Every person has their face stuck in a phone, and it's not right, because you ostracize yourself from society, and maybe people have mental illness and they don't want to deal with real life people and they go online to do it or whatever. It shouldn't. We should be able to, we should, as human beings, interact with other human beings every day. It should be a part in life, not this reliant on technology, not reliant on money, not reliant on farmers to give you food. You should be self-sufficient in life.
I think you and I kind of
And
agree
I
on
think
one
that
thing here, which is that you mentioned about technology. This is kind of related to this. I want to bring this in, even though it may sound kind of like it doesn't fit, but it kind of does. T-Mobile in the United States, he said, we're going to get rid of the interactive voice response system for our call centers, so that when you dial on your cell phone your customer service number, a human being is going to answer your phone right there on the spot. Because human beings, after the 30 years of the interactive voice response systems, have said, it's not working for me. I run a switchboard here at the building. Okay, if you were to ask my neighbors how would I feel if I had an interactive voice response system, they probably would have said, I don't want nothing to do with that. Because at least when I go pick up the phone and I dial 0 on the phone, I get a human being that answers the call, and I could help them out. I think, like you said, with the robots and artificial intelligence, I think we have basically made ourselves obsolete. Because...
And we've changed society. And we've changed a generation of people. And we've changed communities. We've changed neighbours. People don't know their neighbours anymore.
No, that's true.
That's crazy.
Absolutely true.
Well, I grew up.
Absolutely
people
true.
Don't know their neighbours. And, like, you should, respect and take care of the elderly and respect and take care of the disabled. And people don't care anymore. The whole world has become money, a race war. And it is a race war going on in the world.
I have seen whole families do this.
My husband was
you want to talk about something really sad?
My husband was telling me, Michelle, that in Africa, the majority of people are African American, as you know, and they are actually putting the white people out of their farms in Africa.
Right.
And it's going on today.
Yes, I know.
And it's a race war. It's because
and when you ask,
the African Americans
yourself, why are you doing
like shit for generations, and they're standing up and making a rise now, just like Black Lives Matter in America. People are offended by things that they wouldn't have been offended by 5 years ago if you said something. I just, today you can't seem to say anything when it's racially wrong, it's gender wrong. You just can't say anything anymore. You can't call a person fat, or you're discriminating against fat people. It's just, this world is just messed up, Michelle.
It's just like you heard at the beginning of this chat tonight when I was being accused of being a racist because I said I wasn't going to take any phone calls. And I explained why I wasn't wanting to take phone calls was because of my hearing problem. And also, of course, the other thing is when I take phone calls, most of them are crank calls. And the crank callers are deliberately trying to
just trying to annoy you,
trip me up every way they could. Either they deliberately muddle their voices using electronic garblers or whatever, and then you can't hear them.
And I couldn't hear him either, Michelle. So it's not just you. I couldn't hear what he was saying either.
I know.
The guy in the phone call. So it wasn't just your hearing. They deliberately do that so that you can't hear him, because I couldn't hear him either.
Right. And what I'm trying to say is here's the one thing. There's those people, think, I don't know what they're thinking, but what I notice is that our society, when Lamar was accusing me of being a racist, and I explained why I really didn't want to take phone calls. And I don't really know why anybody who says, I'm not taking any phone calls is considered racist when I explain why. And it wasn't...
Okay, Michelle, they did that. He does, whoever it is doing that to trigger you because they like a reaction. Clearly,
Right,
you said
exactly.
nothing about anybody's race, and they were calling you a racist. They were poking fun at you. That is a troll.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's not... And people of this world, let me just say, Michelle, like, people of this world have become so soft. You can't say anything to anyone now when they cry bully or they say you're being racist or you're being transphobic. Oh, there's so many guidelines that you can't cross.
Okay, here's my question. Why is it in the last... I'm going to say... Everybody says it's just a new thing. I'm going to say it's a little newer. I'm going to just pick a date. Let's say back in 2000 and... Oh, it goes back ways more than this. But let's just say 2014. 2014, we had your political correctness. Then 2016, you had all the stuff about racist that, racist this. And even if you're not trying to talk about race, you are called a racist. If you drink white milk, you're called a racist.
I don't think it
white milk is racist, according to people. What? How is white milk racist? It's white milk. It comes from...
Okay. Michelle, I don't think it comes down to race, okay? When people say, oh, American is deadly for racism, that's what we'd hear here in Ireland. Yeah, all Americans are racist. It comes down to, we'll say, white cops shooting black men. And it is not a thing to do with colour. It's to do with the psychopaths coming out and showing their true colours. Any man that would take a gun out and gun down an unarmed man is a psychopath and wants to murder people.
The sad reality is, in many of those communities, the worst problem is not the white cop killing the black guy. It's a black guy killing the black guy. And yet, they want the white people to look like they're the problem. There are some white cops that killed black people. Yes, they did. Okay, maybe they had a reason.
Lots of them, Michelle.
I'm not going to argue for or against that.
No, I'm telling you, Michelle, that people in power are psychopaths. And they are, the majority of them, because you can't think as a normal person. Just like we'll say, not Bush. Yes, Bush took we'll say the soldiers to war in the Gulf War, wasn't it? He entered into Iraq. He staged all that to go in and do it. And then we'll say the soldiers that died, he didn't have any conscience for the dead people that had gone before him. He didn't have he didn't care. He still marched. If 100 soldiers died, they marched in 100 more. He didn't care. They're psychopaths. I'm telling you, the people in power don't have no conscience.
I think this is actually
the same goes for the cop. The cop gets up at the wrong side of the bed. The white cop gets up at the wrong side of the bed in the morning.
I think there's also a lot of sociopaths too. I don't think it's just psychopaths.
Yes, sociopaths. The black guy is running down the street unarmed, like Bobby Brown, wasn't it? Was it Bobby? That was his name. He was unarmed. He did not have a gun, and they shot him down, killed him.
And that's another issue we can discuss another day. And that is why in the heaven's name is mental illness exploding in this world. And I mean, this is really amazing. I'm going to cover that another day because already it's, in my area, it's 9:17 at night. It's 2:17 in the morning your time.
And Michelle, we're on our own here, and I actually had a great chat with you tonight, and I'm going to go too because I got to go to the airport and pick up my mom tomorrow. She's flying in from Australia.
But the most important thing is I want to let you know that I enjoyed tonight's conversation. And
if you need help with the phones, just drop me a message, and I'll jump on and help. If they're not talking stupid and really low, I can hear them. I couldn't hear that guy either, so I couldn't help you on that phone call. I heard milk. That was it.
But I think that when we talk about automation real fast is, I think one of the things I keep saying to myself is, if I had the money and if I had the the ability to do it. I would offer a telephone service for landline customers where you pick up the phone and a human operator answers the phone and asks you for the number. And that you could actually give the operator.
Michelle, I have never heard of ringing customer care on a mobile phone plan or a cell phone and being put through to a machine. That doesn't happen here.
It's a machine.
When you
it
ring,
doesn't care about you.
You speak to a human.
So T-Mobile USA. Radio is my 2018 playlist, along with my technology playlist. You can watch that one there for the T-Mobile USA. You will love it. It's a really funny skit. Okay. But I mean, I would love to have it. When I pick up my handset of my home phone, the operator picks up and says, "Hi, this is so-and-so. Can I have your number, please?" You know, so the person would be talking to a human being. So the person could say to the operator, obviously, "Hi, I want to call 555-1234, and then the operator would make the call for you." I mean, sure, you might say, well, I could do the same thing with Siri. I can do the same thing with Alexa. Yeah, but the thing is for some people, it's nice to realize it's a human being that's actually listening to you, because it gives you human...
Are you talking about, Michelle, are you talking about the switch phones that they would have had in the 1940s and 50s?
Yeah, somewhat similar to what you saw in the old days, something similar to that, yes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, yes, you can do, like I said, that with Alexa or Siri. I can pick up a phone for Siri.
I would not buy those products and bring them in my house.
The point was is the operators were given jobs. They were young boys and girls, you know, young men and women, teenagers. They come in, they get the training. They had a lifelong career. A lot of them retired, and they had good memories of those years where they didn't. That's all they did was make phone calls. And the point was is now you know the girl or the boy or the man or the woman that was answering your phone. You knew the operator. You kind of begun to know their voice. Think about it. Okay, the same thing with other industries. Take, for example, elevators. Now, here's the thing that was automated pretty early on. Get in an elevator, press a button to go to the floor you wanted to go to. Okay? That's all it does. Up and down, up and down. That's a job I can do, no shit. Problem, you know? I can go and I can operate an elevator. I know how to do it. And I operate a standard elevator. Because I've worked with freight elevators like that.
Michelle, we have to roll with the times now. Now, as you can see, they're using technology for everything. Eventually, they're going to eradicate the jobs, and no human is going to have to do a job. It's going to be all technology doing it. As I said,
what have we become? Hey, we have become.
My husband's friend has a farm, Michelle.
We have become slaves.
A machine milks them. He does it from a computer. He does not put his hand on the cows.
Right. We become the slave to the machines. We feed the machines the parts. And maybe one or two guys know how to fix the machine when it breaks. But the point is, and here's where it gets into the social media type. I just want to bring it to social media real quick. I have seen whole families sit at a table together, and they're not actually speaking with words. They're texting each other. What the hell for? You sit right next to you. You can't text. You can't go say hello to your father. He's sitting right across the table from you, and you can't even say hello to your father. You got to text him. Why? He's right there. And I've seen this in restaurants. And I'm like, what the heck? The guy's right in front of you. Why can't you open your mouth? Hi, Dad. Did you watch the Yankees game last night? Jeez, it would have been so easy. You don't have to go ahead and text him. Hi, Dad. Did you watch Yankees game? He's right fucking there, right in front of your face. Why do you have to text it to him? I mean, it's okay. Sometimes if he has a health issue, maybe he's deaf. I can understand that. I'm deaf, okay? I'm partially deaf. I understand that. But the average, normal, everyday people can hear their parents good enough to have a conversation, especially when they're sitting right across the table from them. That is where I'm trying to get. Same thing with social media. You mentioned the neighbors. You know, I don't know my neighbors. I don't really know all of them at all.
Michelle, they handed people an addiction when they brought mobile phones with internet and options to watch videos on watch videos on YouTube or whatever. It's an addiction. People are addicted to technology. That goes for everyone. That goes for me. That goes for you. We're addicted to technology.
Of course I am.
And while we're
why do you think I do a live stream? I do a live stream because while we're sitting there looking at our phones, a blue ray is shooting into our brain and giving us insomnia from looking at the phones or looking at the TV. In my case, it's like grabbing a goddamn megaphone and yelling at the top of my lungs across a city block. And then you wonder why everybody says, "Shut up, you fucking racist." Well, like, Quazarius is yelling at their megaphone just as loud as you are. They're not talking to each other. They're talking at each other.
Michelle, it's 2 in the morning. I gotta go. I gotta drive 5 hours up and 5 hours down to pick my mother up from the airport tomorrow.
But anyway, I'm going to tell you what. It's going to get late anyway. Do you think in maybe Wednesday we could cover the pandemic of the mental illness pandemic?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, because I'm going to get some sleep too. But I mean, we'll talk on Wednesday if we can about mental illness and the mental illness explosion.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for joining me tonight. Appreciate it.
No bother, Michelle, and have a good evening.
Yep. And the way you're going to...
Bye.
Yep. Have a nice night. Okay, so that was Ginger Marie, and we were talking about a lot tonight. Wow. And I really enjoyed the conversation. This is the kind of stuff that I wanted to do. This is the kind of dialogue I wanted to do. Okay, so let me switch this camera to me. And this was really, really a fantastic presentation. And I hope that in the near future, we're going to have more like this. Because this is the kind of thing I want to do. But for now, it is 9:25 Eastern Time, and I have to take care of a couple personal needs. And let's see here. Let me just wrap this up here. So I want to thank you all for coming, and please don't be afraid to comment on tonight's chat. We are having a show on Wednesday as well at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to probably cover the mental illness topic and the mental illness pandemic, which is beginning to become big problem worldwide. Really, really amazing. Oh yeah, we also could talk about something else at the same time, because it probably won't take that much time to talk about mental illness. Is how is these computers and modern technology damaging our eyes? It's certainly doing a number on mine, I'll tell you that for sure. But that will be another show for Wednesday. But until Wednesday, don't forget to keep commenting. Please do share these videos with friends, family. I know some of them get a little weird, but I think tonight's chat was actually pretty good. But for now, I will see you soon. Stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.